Yes, people, how we doing? How we doing? We're back. We're back again, and we need to talk a little bit about the game on Sunday. A little bit about what we witnessed, what we divulged our undivided attention to on Sunday. I mean, even my attention was on the game, and I was working. And it was a Black Friday weekend, which is, if you're in retail, that's not something that's very hard to ignore. So we're going to be talking about some good stuff, some proper content, real content. Didn't quite make it to Pornhub categories worth of content with the United Everton game, but that was more of a West Ham feat with Arsenal. But man like Hot Fuzz, respect to you, Ravi. Thank you for being here. Hope all is well with you. And of course, Early Doors Football TV. Evening, Ravi. Evening to you, Tony. Hope all is well with you. Looking forward to tomorrow, getting the teeth sunk in a little bit. Fuzz has now replaced his photo of Eric Ten Hag in his wallet to a photo of Amarim. Go on, boy. Yeah. I no longer have to. I no longer have to support my manager by balding now. I can without guilt go and save my hairline if it gets a bit more clapped. I can have the proper comebacks, if you will. Like Antonio Conte's hairline and stuff like that. So yeah. That's pretty much where we are at with the ordeals with the managerial support. But Ruben Amorim, he's got fans all over this fan base, absolutely loving life, high on tactics. People drawing up charts and so look at this, look at that, look at these figures of four, and look at these passing, look at this control. If you look at the stats of the game, it genuinely looks like, United were slightly better than Everton, just a little bit better. And that will probably be correctly assumed for like the first 36 minutes or so. Once the goal happened, then the game changed. The game just went for Everton, just completely lost all sense of control. And a testament, you could say, to the team, to the players, that we credited them for sticking to the game plan against Bodo Glimt when they were in a losing position. They stuck to their guns. They didn't waver. And one very important factor that I've got to acknowledge with this team and how it played was when we took the lead, Everton never once looked like ever finding a way back in. Like they wanted to knock on the door, and they stepped on a landmine before they reached the door. So the only thing left of knowing whether Everton tried to get back in the game or not was just the dismembered wrist and hand just sat there in front of the door on your doorstep. That's kind of all the evidence there was of Everton potentially ever mounting a comeback, and that's not a common feat when we describe a Man United performance, because we've had games where we've blown teams away by the scoreline, and perhaps maybe we could acknowledge the scoreline perhaps flattered us a bit. Maybe we look at things and say, well, some of the chances that we had, we didn't take it, so we could have had like numerous amounts of goals, and just be like, well, that could have been an 8-0 game instead of a 4-0 game or a 3-0 game. We had that many chances, but at the same time, in the same breath, you could almost say, but from this point, we could have absolutely lost that game. And that was the air of almost a unpredictability with this team, right? Under Ten Hag, this you couldn't really predict the way a game was going to go. With this Man United team, there's various things that we've already seen in 3 games. That tells us a lot of perhaps what we can expect from the way Amarim wants to coach this team and the way this team is going to play um, moving forwards. And it's got some good reading. Got some good reading. I know that fast starts, energized starts, seem to be on the menu. You know, high press, very direct, taking no prisoners. You know, stranglehold, don't let go, and opening few minutes of the halves of football in 3 of the games, and all I think it was all 3 of the games we've scored a goal in at least one of the halves within like the first 5 minutes. So incentivizing the importance of getting a strong start in a game seems to be a very big feature. Establishing the control, rushing to get into the lead, and then just constantly keeping them leashed to a certain distance, right? You're trying to control the proceedings. So for a lot of games, now perhaps with Arsenal on Wednesday, that's not really the principle that's going to work. You can't really just hold Arsenal there at arm's length and just be like, yeah, good luck. You can't really do that sort of thing. But there are other games where you can do it. And the amount of times we've seen teams that we're expected to beat where we don't beat them, or we don't perform in a manner that we should expect us to do, to perform in, and making light work seem like really hefty, difficult, hard work. Coventry City in the FA Cup last season, Newport County from being 2-0 up to 2-2, and then having to, go for a last hurrah to put us into a 4-2 league position. That there's no real senses of absolute control of the game or domination, or just really cynically managing the proceedings on the football pitch. And within 3 games, we've seen a team that's gone from overthinking things, being in their heads, thinking too much about stuff, what each player is doing, what do I do in the situation, to right, let's just focus on playing this way and only focus on that. We saw chances were missed. They got back into the game. The opposition took the lead. Stick to the plan, trust in the process, and I've just given you an Arsenal buzzword. Trust in the process, and back the system. Patience is a virtue, and you converted. They converted. So and then of course coming to Everton, a step of opposition. The doubters or naysayers from midweek were saying, "Well, they'll drop points to Everton." Absolutely. I thought we'd win against Everton, but I just thought, well, progress it a little bit. Just see like the baby steps of improvement from the previous game to the next game. Expect absolutely nothing from the Arsenal game, because that's essentially the only time we can really sit here and say, "Oh yeah, free hit." We're not going to be at all progressed enough to really even compete with Arsenal. The level of performance we saw against Everton, though not perfect and though not fantastically amazing, still controlled the game and just completely put Everton to sleep. Not in a sense of a boring way, but like it choked them out, completely choked them out of the game. So we didn't even have to go absolutely all guns blazing, because if we did that, we could have smashed them for 6s, 7s, and 8s, and actually say what an accurate scoreline that is. We could have had Sean Dyche sacked, with how bad of a battering it could have been if it were just completely all the way. Um, but for me, I look at this and I just feel like going into this game, we just needed to see the smaller amount of progress. But then the game happened, and it's a shame I wasn't able to spectate it live. And I was thinking, well, by the proceedings of the game, it looked like it had to have been a resounding performance. And it turns out that it absolutely was. I think for a lot of the people who are watching minute by minute, the the proceedings on the pitch were, there were some really really good moments. Yeah, players really stepping up and going up levels, showing sides to their game that they haven't shown for a while or haven't shown yet. Amad Diallo assisted twice, but absolute pressing machine. Completely embarrassed the right side of the Everton defence, or the left side of the Everton defence, I should say. Um, twice in the game, one half each time, and both times he did it led to a goal. So Amad Diallo already fantastic performance yet again, but Xerxes stepped up and found massive, massive amounts of confidence. Um, then followed up by that, Rashford getting goals. People wondering, oh, is Rashford back? I'm not really feeling this the Rashford vibes. I don't trust him enough to want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Um, and Bruno Fernandes, not really his best, most effective position. Still ended up with 2 assists. Like, people were wanting him to be dropped deeper next to Casemiro, and then move Kobe Mino up into the 10. And even then, we still found impact through Bruno Fernandes. I think Kobe Mino, yeah, okay, bit of ring rust, definitely a bit of ring rust, but it, I mean, he's going to end up missing the Arsenal game. So whether we want to say, well, he can, you can take that as a glass half full, um, and say that it's just more. He had a start and plenty of minutes in the legs, in the tank, and then just rest for the midweek, play again on the weekend. Um, so I like what I've seen. Definitely like what I've seen. Big ups Fuzzy watching FA Cup draw. Big ups to Long Haired Yeti's Cave, and don't forget as well, people. Um, Subscribe to me. Subscribe to everybody else as well. Long Haired Yeti's Cave, for Nottingham Forest and also gaming content. If you like that sort of thing, and just general watch alongs for Premier League football. Yeah, all teams pretty much covered if there is streams available for it, or channels available for it, and of course Early Doors Football TV if you like your West Ham content, and watching the FA Cup draw. So apparently Arsenal versus Man United in the FA Cup at the Emirates. Ooh. Well, I'll tell you what. I like that. I like that sort of a challenge. Hmm. When is it happening? When is it happening? I would like to see us. Um, if the league result isn't what we're looking for, um, I can't lie. Play him once and can't take the advantage first time around. Oh, I'd happily come to their ground again and slap them at the FA Cup. I'd like that. I'd like that very much. I like it very much. But yeah, big game, big game. But that's what we like. That's what we want. We want the big tests. Villa versus West Ham. That's West Ham out. And Liverpool versus Accrington Stanley. That's Liverpool's FA Cup come to an end. Mighty Accrington Stanley coming to derail slot season on a slot. Slot out will be trending. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I have that feeling, and you know what? Arsenal away on Wednesday. Arsenal in the third round of the FA Cup away at the Emirates again. I'm not feeling worried about that. I'm not feeling nervous about it. I've got man Ruben Amorim's Man United progression has got United fans feeling like there's something to work with here. Like we could genuinely be doing something. And I think there's a vibe in Manchester United or around Manchester United. There's that feeling. That feeling's in the air. We're coming for blood. We're coming for everybody. We're coming for this guy's team too. Big up, Fuzzy. We're going to destroy you, knock you off the pitch. One down, one to go from the bad and the ugly. Well, we got you in the FA Cup, Anthony. So we'll happily take some 3 points on Wednesday, and we'll take the fourth round of the FA Cup as well, if you don't mind, if you're feeling charitable. Of course, big ups to Anthony Herbert, one of the co-panelists for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which will be tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. So do be sure to come join us for that. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit of a review of the weekend's football, as well as a look forward into the coming fixtures, and also West Ham will be playing that night. So we'll get to see the many faces of Tont. So yeah, from Early Doors Football TV. So I'm looking forward to it. Bristol City versus Wolves. Could be an upset on the cards of that fixture, you know. Could genuinely be. Wolves better watch out with that one, because very easily could go wrong. But but yeah, the the game that we had with Everton, just as like a TLDR or just a general vibe check. I think expectation versus reality. I think we had the expectation of this. Reality's sort of delivered up here. Now that's what we like to see. We like to see that sort of bit of overachievement, right? Just give us um, you know, deliver us an expectation that we can feel like, yeah, that's progressions. We can move with that, and then deliver us results. The verdicts that give us that life, that hope, and that aspiration to start. As Man United fans, think about winning Premier League titles again. Start competing in Champions League and trying to go to the finals and win there. So would hate to do the triple on you, Fuzzy. Bristol City win. Possible, to be honest. Very possible. But yeah, as far as the triple, there can't be any triples in the world of Arsenal, because you don't do cups anymore. You don't do cups anymore. You don't really win Premier League titles anymore. Or, well, I say anymore. I haven't won them for several decades. And of course, European intercontinental success, a little bit harder to come by. Forest v Luton. Good game there. Definitely a good game there. See if Luton have got still a bit of Premier League fighter power in that. Man City versus Salford City. Tell you what, they'll one way or another, future league rivals. If you know, you know. Man City versus Salford City. Draw finished and West Ham are out already. Can't agree with that more. Sorry, Tont. Sorry, Tony. But Yeah, West Ham not looking too hot. Not looking too hot at all. Hope the Tractor Boys Ipswich beat Bristol Rovers. I think they will. I think Ipswich will do a number on the Rovers. So yeah, looking good there. Definitely looking good. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Arsenal game on Wednesday. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Arsenal game, and of course the matches beyond that. I just want to check um, to see if there is any telling what the schedule for the FA Cup game will be. I wonder. Where would you want Ipswich to beat your boys? My boys got Wolves, Yeti. Ah, little closet Rovers fan. Yeah. Little closet Rovers fan. City on Wednesday, bring it on. Absolutely. I think you should go for it. City on Wednesday, Forest at home. Following that, both Manchester clubs in the space of half a week. Yeti. How many points are you going? Are you going 6 points a week? 6 points a week for Yeti's Forest. Tell you what though, answers on a postcard with the Man City fallout. You know what's caused it? How's it come around? Because they weren't. I'll tell you what, City weren't playing fantastic at the start of the season, but they were winning games and doing so quite convincingly. Now all of a sudden it's changed. The mood has really shifted in that dressing room. Um, Edison dropped from the team, ironically, following the appearance of the scarring on Pep's face. Um, I don't want to draw speculation, but may have turned the Manchester training centre into a bit of a boxing hub, potentially. Can't lie. Don't know what you guys think. Yeah, 6 points from Manchester, bro. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. 6 points from Manchester. And a little letter of 3 points. A gift, a parting gift of 3 points to United. We'll happily back you. We'll be forest red when you play City, but we'll have to we'll have to cull you um, on the weekend. I can't lie. We're gonna have to do it. Gonna have to do it. I'm afraid, but it'll be a good game. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to Arsenal. Looking forward to Forest. Looking forward to Arsenal away. Looking forward to City away. We've got Forest at home. Got Plizen. I think it's Plizen. Victoria. Yeah, Victoria Plizen. Midweek away. And then, of course, Man City away in the Premier League, followed by Tottenham away. There's a lot of big games, but I'm fancying the challenge. I'm actually fancying the challenge. I think there's a few wins in that. There are a few wins in that. Which games they'll be, I don't know, but I'm intrigued. Looking forward to giving Fuzzy some shit when we beat them. I'm looking forward to giving you The whole world is shit when we beat you. I'm looking forward to it. I want the smoke. I want the smoke. That's what it's all about. You want the challenges, yeah. And my manager has given me confidence. You know, he's got a lot of air in my head. He's put a lot of air in my head. You know, I'm looking for them. I'm looking for them challenges. I'm looking for them fights. You know, I want to see very competitive Man United doing battle on a football pitch for 90 minutes and holding their own. You know, face all comers and you know, taking some hefty scalps with them. That's what I like to see. That's what old Man United would do, and new Man United, um, yeah, needs to do the same. Got to do the same, and you just beat 11 floaters 5-2. You beat 11 mercenaries, 11 East End builders. My worry for you guys against us is taking advantage of your attacking wingbacks. Yeah, I think the wingbacks are definitely a big focal point in the Samarim system. Pressing down the wings, the runners in the middle, late runners from the middle, um, and I think there's two different striking options. And do you know what? The dangerous thing is that Amarim sort of looked at that, right, and he's gone. Well, there's two different types of strikers, plenty of different opponents and defenses that will come up against, and I've got options. Like Amram's looked at the squad and has gone. I've got options for pretty much every single opponent. So there's a lot of thinking behind the team selections that he goes with. So I think with your sort of defense, I think the sort of player that Amarim's trying to use Xerxes to be, I reckon Xerxes probably the choice of striker against you. I think against Arsenal, he may look for more straight line pace as more like a transitional counter attacking break type attack with Rasmus Højlund. Um, so yeah, there's rotation very much possible there, and he's not looked at this team of players and thought, "Ah, I need my own players." He's gone. Well, there's options here. I've got options to play around with. There's a lot of situations that I can make out of this. Um, Ahmad has looked impressive. He has. He's massively stepped up. Massively stepped up. Do you see a lot of player changes in the next 1 to 2 years? I do. I do think we'll see still quite a few big names leaving and other key key names coming in. Um, I've seen the Diogo Dalot news breaking today. Interest from Real Madrid for Diogo Dalot. Supposedly, they've stuck a bit of a hefty price tag on him. I think it's like about 50 million euros for Diogo Dalot, and it's got some United fans thinking. It has got some United fans thinking, but I'm unsure about what I think about selling Dalot at this point. Maybe, maybe as there is a plan for the signing other fullbacks, would you cash in on Dalot to, you know, to bring other players in? Um, and who else? Who else do you get rid of? I mean, Marcus Rashford, I would let go. I would let go of Casemiro. Christian Eriksen's leaving. I think the club are focusing on bringing, definitely overhauling that midfield, the attacking side of it, the sort of box to box factors of it. Um, yeah, I think that there's a lot of work that I think Ineos have got lined up and got planned for signings in this team, but sometimes you'll get those curveballs like this Dallo news, and it makes the club think, well, you know, there's something to be said there. Somebody else that I would massively consider selling on would be Alejandro Garnacho, because I think this young lad, um, I think that he's getting to a point now as a player where I think you need to show character growth. And I don't think he's necessarily shown that he's grown his character. He hasn't really flourished um, all that much. And it does feel like the character, the personality he cuts, for instance, with his team social media posting, what he thinks about situations, what he thinks about people, what he thinks about other players, his teammates. I think Garnacho is floating away from the mainland a little bit, and he's going to find it really, really difficult to swim against the current to get back if he strays too far. There's what because that's just one thing that I think with Garnacho that you just cannot afford to at all do is just isolate and try and think for himself. Like I think he needs to think about the bigger picture and be a part of be a part of this team and the system. Have that um, selfless edge to you rather than selfish edge. Um, at the age of 20, sure you've had some mad moments of brilliance on a football pitch, but that's not it's not necessarily legacy definitive. Those are those are sort of feats that it's like, oh my god, wow! In the moment you've done something absolutely massive, but what are you doing the rest of the time? And I feel like he's sort of riding off of just those massive moments, like he's like a surfer on like a massive wave. It's eventually going to crash down, and you're going to be swamped up, swept away. You know, he's very quickly going to end up losing control of things. So I like Delo. He's had good and bad games. Yeah, he's had his inconsistencies. I think that every player at Man United has seemingly had these inconsistency issues. Definitely. So in Dallo's case, I think a lot of people have praised him as player of the season last season. As probably one of the most consistent out of the most inconsistent bunch um, that the Premier League has ever seen. But I think what he can offer as well is like what he can offer us is worth having. Um, but if it's other times he can sort of let you down, and I think those are probably the sort of discussions that the club will have with Ruben Amorim and some of the players that he probably thinks about bringing in, like some of the ideas. I think there's definitely right wing backs that that Ruben Amorim would consider bringing in. That is probably in his scopes. I think there's the bloke from Sporting Lisbon. Can't remember his name. Their current right wing back, who's got the prominent qualities for somebody that fits the bill in the Amorim system. So, and I think also for the left hand side, be a bit interesting. Be really, really interesting. We'll be seeing what happens for the case of left wing back Alfonso Davis, modern figure. Good, good age profile. Fits a lot of the qualities that I think Aaron wants his wing backs to have. Very driven, very pacey. Um, has got good elements of attacking outlet, um, and doesn't need to be the world's best defending fullback, but does enough to really pair up with the left-sided of the three centre backs. Whoever's there, pair up and shut down the wingers' abilities to really do anything. Um, like for example, this weekend, maybe now that Lissandro Martinez is suspended for the game, maybe we'll see a Luke Shaw Tyrell Malacia pairing on the left hand side. And if there's two fullbacks versus Bukayo Saka's not going to have an easy day. He won't have an easy day at the office. So yeah, I think there's things to be said about this team. Will Sanko, that's his new name, Sanko leave after his loan at Chelsea is finished? If so, how much would he go for? I don't know if it's like a pre-agreement. I think if it's Chelsea's case, the pre-agreement's for like really, really cheap, like really, really cheap amount of money. So I think other clubs would definitely have to pay more if they want to hijack that sort of a deal. They would have to pay more to Chelsea, but I think it's massively going to depend on what Sancho wants to do. And I think if he's happy at Chelsea, he's going to absolutely stay in London. If he's happy with London, he'll stay. He'll absolutely tell his agents, "I want to go back," and make this deal permanent, make this move permanent. So I don't think selling Sancho is going to be a hefty figure by any stretch of the imagination. Learn to type your simpleton. Yeah, it's Anthony's fat fingers. The digits on this phone is small doses my nutty. Doses cells in your brain are small, so you should be okay. Get the brain cells to type for you. Damn, bit of clappage going on there. Drinking Pepsi Pack's rival. Drinking the Coke Pack. Oh dear. So a bit of team news as well for Arsenal. Lenny Oro is expected to feature in the matchday squad. He will be there. Lenny Oro's return to Manchester United, despite having not played a competitive game for them yet. It's like a new signing, guys. It's like a new signing. Lenny Oro, soon to be back in action, and back to the bench with you, Maguire. Back to the bench with you, you cretin. That's a bit harsh. That's a little bit harsh, but oh well. Be funny if you beat Arsenal. Do you know what? And that's something else. I'm sure we'll discuss it. We'll discuss the realm of possibilities that should Arsenal, in their position, in their conquest for Premier League glory, they're chasing down Liverpool with Arne Slot. Ultimately, what is it that's going to be the fallout for Arteta's Arsenal should Ruben Amorim, with only 3 games and 2 weeks worth of training and implementation of a completely unique and new system at Manchester United, if that beats Phase 5 Mikel Arteta, man, you mans have got to have some massive conversations. What is this phase nonsense? Where is this Arteta phases going? Because if Ruben Amorim's multiple phase project goes in the form of games rather than Arteta's seasons, then Ruben Amorim is going to be fast overtaking um, Arsenal if this is the direction they're going to be heading in. But can't see it, but it is a different tactic. Nobody knows. I just think with the way in which this United team plays, it's not necessarily going to be Arsenal having a free easy day at the office. It's a team that I think these players are wanting it. They want the challenge, they want the fight, and they're on the ascendancy. I doubt a Man United side's going to go there and get completely wiped the floor with. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Not impossible to happen, but I don't see it. Who can you see beating Liverpool aside from us? Um, well, I mean, if it was them still coming to Old Trafford, I probably would say us. But do you know what? I think by the time we play them, so it'll be January. 5th of January is when we play Liverpool away in the league. There's a lot of games between now and then. Man United could be fully competitive side by that point. So I'm not going to rule us out beating Liverpool at Anfield. I'm not going to rule us out completely. But man, it's going to be difficult. Really, really difficult. City didn't do it and probably won't do it either on the return leg and the return fixture. I think probably Arsenal are a likely team to be able to beat Liverpool. But past that, I don't really see anybody having, currently, right now, I don't really see anybody having quite enough potential in them to cause all sorts of damage. My missus bought a Christmas Yeti today. It's got Yeti top half, but Jez bottom half. His legs are like non-existent. We've got to avoid giving. You got to avoid giving them corners. Yeah, I think just avoid corners in general. But one thing I will say is that whilst they're working on set pieces, so are we. You know, you saw from our set piece, uh, they acknowledge what goes on with that squad. They acknowledge where there are strengths and weaknesses between our team and the opposition. They try to get they try to coach and outsmart the opposition. So set pieces will be an interesting watch because I don't think necessarily if we get corners that is all just going to be just straightforward default crosses into the box. I think they'll try to work different things, short corners, again corners to certain areas in the box, really forcing the Arsenal defence to have to move. Much like how they're trying to work unique offences with the corner set pieces. I think play, we may play chess, Arsenal may play checkers, and we'll both be masters of our craft or something like that. There's going to be a lot of intriguing factors to it. But for me, one thing that I don't want to see us doing necessarily against Arsenal is in the attacking side of the game is delivering floating crosses. If we want to cross against David Raya, if you want to play the ball across the box with David Raya in goal, you are doing it with low pace and driven power. You're doing it where Raya is having to scramble. If Raya can see the ball, it's always going to be his. He'll never lose it. He'll see that ball coming from a mile away and he'll be like, right, out of the way, guys. Thank you very much. Easy as you like. Keep him guessing where that ball is, because Raya will struggle if we move that ball with pace, with tenacity, and with unpredictability. You know, keep keep uh, David Raya guessing. I think as far as the defence goes, I think Amad Diallo versus Calafiori, that'll be an interesting battle. I look forward to that. I think if we play Rasmus Højlund, pace in behind, play driven balls through the middle. Gabriel and Saliba got to watch their shoulders, got to watch their backs, because if Rasmus gets the pull away, you're in trouble. I think Rashford, if he plays, and dependent on his movement, how the interaction goes, how players sort of pass and move, I think Rashford could cause problems with his movement. I don't necessarily think that him with the ball at his feet, like he's going to dribble past anybody. But I think um, where he can adopt positions, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens. Hold my beer, we did it. There you go. How was your beer, Yeti? Your pizza. You ordered pizza. Not thin crust. Amarin make United great again. Can't disagree with that. Fuzzy, what's your top 7 finish for the season? Or the top 7 teams? Well, I think Liverpool are just going to run away with it. Second place is for me a toss up between Chelsea and Arsenal. I genuinely think it's going to be a toss up between those two teams. City probably end up 4th place unless they really, really do fall off ridiculously hard. That they really do fall down the table, which I don't want to believe is going to be the reality, but never say never with these sort of things. I think Tottenham's a weird one because their form, they seem to be blowing so hot and cold at the moment. It's one game you say, oh right, so Tottenham play that way, they'll finish strongly in the league. But then the next week they'll show you a form that is like no chance. These guys just don't look like they have much of an idea. Like lower down the table teams come and look like the better team against them, and it's just so weird. But the Tottenham faithful seem to support him, so I'll probably say, well, given that sort of a verdict, I would go, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say, sure, they'll finish 5th place. Potentially, I'd say between 6th and 7th. I'd say Man United probably in there between 6th or 7th place. I'll probably say United 6th. But depends really on how much Amarim's able to exert out of this team. Because if he can get some really good performances between now and the end of the season, I think even 5th place could be in our top 4 even. It really depends on what's going to happen with not just Man United, but the teams around us. Because we're by no means out of sight from 4th place. Right? There's 4 points currently. There's 4 points between us and 4th place. So make of that what you will. That's 2 match day weekends where results just have to be different and we're immediately ahead. 2 match day results. And there's definitely possibilities for that to happen. As far as the other team, probably in top 7 positions, probably looking between Newcastle and Aston. Oh, but it's pretty toss up actually. Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Nottingham Forest. I'd say for that seventh place. I seriously think Nottingham Forest can make good on a European charge this season. You know, aim for the qualification positions for Europa Conference League, and if you do any better, then it's Europa League. You know, I think Nottingham Forest, where you are at the moment, I'd say the guys upstairs in your boardroom should be looking at January and thinking we might realistically, we could genuinely make a decent push for European positions here. You know, and let's give them a little bit of extra backing in the January transfer window to really strengthen various aspects of this team, a couple of positions here or there, and there's something to be said. So I think one of those three teams definitely in seventh place position, potentially higher. Fuzz, that's a fix. Arsenal versus United FA Cup. It's going to be a good. It's going to be a good. There's a lot of history between with Arsenal and Man United with the FA Cup because his first place amount is the most amount of FA Cups won versus second most amount of FA Cups won. You know, and we're one behind them, so it's like it would be symbolic. Man United were to beat Arsenal in the FA Cup and then go on to win the FA Cup, we would end. It would have to be retaining it, which I'll be really, really impressed with if we retain the FA Cup, and ultimately would be the leveler. You know, tied on I think most amount of FA Cups won. So yeah, let's talk. And Red Skull got a hater calling me Smack Talker Skywalker. We've got Mike Saber for a hater in the chat. Stop talking shit, mate. You're gonna lose Wednesday. Well, I hope, I really hope if if Arsenal win, if Arsenal lose, right, I hope to see you in the chat again. Hopefully, I would like to see you come back. And January in the FA Cup, thank you so much for all 6 points. Well, unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, but you don't win points in an FA Cup tie, for starters. If you're talking about 6 points with you coming to Old Trafford, that's a much further ahead in the season. We're talking, how far ahead are we talking when you come to town? That's in the 8th of March. You're not playing us at Old Trafford until the 8th of March. So there's a long, long way to go to guarantee 6 points in the league. So we'll hold you to this standard, though, Red Skull. We'll hold you to that standard. And if you lose on Wednesday, I hope that we'll see you in the chat again. And we'll love to hear. We'll give you the microphone. We'll give you the floor, and share with the group. Tell us how you'd be feeling. Careful, Red Skull, Fuzzy Captain America. You're damn right. You're damn right. The star on my shield. Vibranium team. Thoughts on how Amarim manages Kobe Mainu? I think with Kobe Mainu, this. I think some people will say playing where he was played on Sunday. You get other people who say, nah, he's more cut out for a 10, playing where Bruno plays, and then bring Bruno back into where Kobe was playing. You know, switch those two around, and you'll get a better balance and dynamic. So, you know, I would be open to that. I'd be open to seeing what Kobe can produce in the number 10 position. Mason Mount's another one. Is he going to be utilised as a 10? Is he going to be played as one of the 8s? You know, where does Mason Mount play? So I think there's quite a few players. To be honest, I'd like to see Kobe get a few chances in the 10. just to see what his impact is as an individual for the qualities he has, the ability to carry, the ability to turn on the ball, good agility, good awareness, and yeah, I think maybe he's got an eye for a killer pass too. So I'll be looking at that. I'll be absolutely looking at Cobby in the 10. Be an interesting game on Wednesday. A few interesting games, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as much as the professionals complain about the scheduling, it's the time of the year that I think Premier League fans low-key look forward to. They look forward to all of these fixtures. Play a Premier League game weekend, then a game midweek, then weekend again the midweek, and then weekend again. It's great for us as spectators, but clubs, you hope with big squads. It's like with Arsenal's squad, for example, they're going to have to rotate a lot, like a huge amount. What happens when the scheduling is not as hectic and they encounter injuries? They still have selection issues. They do face selection issues. So it begs the question for all the clubs that have these smaller squads, these thinner squads, just how many points does it cost them in the league, or how many cups would it cost a team with a smaller or thinner squad when you go through this sort of the mid-season schedule? I think for Man United, we've got a little bit of depth, just a little bit of depth, and we've seen that already being exercised. The managing of minutes, the amount of different players that you can start, and players, of course, that are currently injured coming back from injury. It's like, for instance, both of our left back options weren't available when we were playing back four, so we had to play two right back options to cover both left and right hand side. Right now, we've got both right back options available, both left back options available, and we're playing some of the attacking wingers in the wing back positions, plus then some of your fullbacks in your back three. So you cater to some of the centre back depth issues. Two central midfield positions between 4 or 5 players, 4 or 5 options. Two central attacking 10 positions. Again, you can bring one of your wingers to play more inverted, your closer support player to your striker, or one of your striker options back to be the support player. And then your striker option, whoever else is available. I mean, Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee can both play on the pitch at the same time. Zirkzee drops deeper when he plays as the 9. He's more of a support player to link up play. Rasmus Højlund holds up the ball as more of a target man and a carrier of the ball. So there's various different ways in which this Man United team with the 3-4-3, or it's probably closer to a 3-4-2-1, if anything. But there's options there for rotation, and we've already seen Amorim rotating and managing minutes, because I think the way that he's trying to coach this team is to maintain enough fitness to compete in the games, not risk as much injury, and ultimately just see out an energetic couple of months through hectic scheduling, with everybody getting good opportunities, and not risking dropping points too often, or risk losing games too often, because sometimes you can rotate for the sake of rotating, and it disrupts harmony and flow state. So then you end up losing that bit of energy, that bit of fight and determination, because it's a different set of players and teammates not really fully familiar with each other. I think strength, rotating the team from team to teams, basically is trying to translate it to be like moving from strength to strength, right? You're rotating because you want to manage everyone's minutes, because you want to get the best performances from everybody, by playing them in all of the games that really suit their styles individually. And the fact that these players sort of understand that, are feeding into that a little bit, sort of gets me thinking that some of these players are actually feeling that and understanding that a lot, and they're tapping into it with that positivity. Like they want to play for this manager. We questioned that, we doubted that under Ten Hag, you know, from the way in which players were, you know, training, very very physically demanding training. Under Amarim, there's moments of high physicality or high energy levels needed to train for Amarim's system, but other times conserve the energy and just relax a bit. You know, just relax a little bit. Don't kill yourself in training. If you want to kill yourself somewhere, do it on a football pitch. Not that I'm recommending anybody go do that, because that'd be quite bad if people start killing themselves on the pitch. Fuzzy, what do we think of West Ham? Shit. What do we think of shit, West Ham? Thank you. That's all right. We're at West Ham. We're at West Ham. We're at West Ham. That's probably my war chant. Wet spam. West Ham have the perfect nickname for getting beat. The pun writes itself. Wet spam. Wet slap. Wet slapped. All good, all in good time. I'm delighted with what we are doing, but still work to do. Absolutely. At least Yeti, right? With Nottingham Forest, when you have phases, like these stages and these phases actually matter to the growth and progression of Nottingham Forest Football Club. With other clubs, with phases, it's just a different way of writing the exact same story. It's like writing 50 Shades of Grey again, but all the sex positions featured in the book are they swap out the sex position, so they do the same seams of fuckery, but it's all different positions and shapes and sizes instead. They change the variables. That's kind of what the Arsenal phases are. You won't see him again unless they win. Absolutely, 100%. You read it? Fuck yeah. I read every porn novel on the internet. Better experience than with a real woman. Go. If you didn't know, single by choice. You know? Now we know why you don't answer Insta messages. Yeah, I put myself on Do Not Disturb, right? And next to Do Not Disturb, there's the little sort of water spurts sign. That's how you know, right? I send out signals, man. I send out signals, like the Batman logo shining in the sky. It's like people know when I'm calling, when I'm responding to the call. But yeah. Anyways, but I think there's a fair point to call it a day here before we really go into narrating the full book content of a pornographic novel, because it's no longer about football; it's football now. But anyways, we'll end it there. We'll get to do it all again tomorrow, guys. 8:30 p.m. The good, the bad, and in Tony's case, the invisible. Oh, that's West Ham's case, but in Tony's case, the ugly. The ugly and the invisible. But thanks for watching, guys. Thank you very much for all of those who tuned in. Some love, some hate, but it is what it is. We move. But big appreciations for everybody for giving the chat some life. So I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash them likes. If you're watching on the playback, leave your thoughts and your feelings about what you saw on Sunday with the Everton game and how we're feeling about the Arsenal game. You'll see the previews featured in the good, the bad, and the ugly episode tomorrow as well. So, yeah. we'll be talking about that whilst Tony's losing his rag with Leicester, palming palming up West Ham. So yeah, rude ball all the way for Leicester. Hope it all works out for him there, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it all. It's going to be. I want it to be a good week of football. Jez got a Jez signal like Batman. It's a picture of a prick in the sky. Do you reckon Jez, if he was a superhero, wears a mask or something? What sort of a mask would he wear? I'll leave. I'll let you guys paint that sort of a picture. But big thank yous to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow for some good, bad, and ugly showings. Take care, people. All the best. Speak to you again.